Joe Hurtling, just in terms of the months ahead, what does the war continue to look like?
Well, we're going to see some changes in the environment, certainly, Anderson, but that affects both sides, and I'm talking about weather. Ukraine continues to generate momentum. There's an attempt by Russia to incorporate mobilized soldiers, which we've seen through internal Russian reports. There are more people running out of country than there are moving and marching to mobilization stations. And even if they get some of those Russian soldiers to the front line, they're going to be joining units that are actually depleted, low morale, and have not achieved any success on the battlefield. So we're going to see an increased momentum by the Ukrainian forces. You're going to see more defeats on the battlefield by the Russian forces. And unfortunately, we're probably going to see more, since the 24th of February, as Peter said, more artillery and missile strikes against civilian targets and more criminal activities that puts Russia and Mr. Putin in an aspect that they should be brought before The Hague.
This was hugely significant because this bridge connects everything here. So let's take a look at the map. This is the lower area of Crimea is right here. This is already Russian territory, and the bridge is right within this circle right here, and the town of Kerch is right there. So this bridge is really a masterwork of engineering, and for that reason, because it connects Russia with Crimea and then goes into Ukraine, allows for people to go into Ukraine, that makes it so much better for the Russians to move their products, move their weapons, move their troops into a war front. With that gone, it becomes much more difficult.
Yeah, and I mentioned that there's a psychological element to this. Will Putin see this as a direct attack on him and his government?
Well, yes, because in 2018, he actually opened this bridge. That's him walking to the bridge to drive this truck right on this bridge. And the reason he did this was because he was so proud of this bridge and of its connections that it was able to give Russia into Crimea. Basically, it's annexing Crimea for real, physically annexing Crimea into Russia. That's why he did this.
We saw Russia apparently retaliate in Zaporizhia. Do you anticipate more attacks on civilian areas in the wake of this?
Absolutely, and it won't just be Zaporizhia. Zaporizhia is right here. The city of Zaporizhia is actually in Ukrainian hands. Part of the province of Zaporizhia is in Russian hands right now, and of course the nuclear power plant is right here. We can expect the Russians to attack along this front. Potentially they may try to do things in this area as well, which the Ukrainians got in the northeast, and even remotely possible, but even around Kyiv, there's a possibility for something like that to happen.